Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Here we are again, another day, another quick wrap-up.
Yes, it's the end of day 3 of the International Table Grape Symposium, Somerset West. And today was interesting again with a whole lot of different things.
It was surprisingly busy.
Yes, there were a lot of people, and the presentations this morning, there were quite a number of very scientific presentations about diseases of the grapevine. Yes. And how they're dealing with them, and well, quite a number of things that I already had no idea about. I know a little bit more now, but not that much.
There was a big section this afternoon about treating young vines, not young vines, it's like just grafted vines with certain pathogens that protect it, and should you hot dip them, should you not hot dip them. There was a whole variety of topics all about that. A lot of it went over my head, to be very honest with you. It's a lot of big scientific names, but that's what the symposium is about. It's about science stuff. Yes. But the bits we did understand was quite interesting.
Well, it is a science symposium. Yeah. So, you know, the people that were presenting really are obviously experts, and, you know, we learned a little bit from them. Yeah. And the little bit we learned was interesting. But there, as you said, there was a lot that went over our heads.
Yeah, and then we had the brief walkthrough that we showed you guys. We had a little bit of a connectivity issues during that, so we apologize for that. But just to give you an idea of what it's looking like here now, it's all the people and all that kind of stuff. But Cortiva, who sponsored this afternoon's, was it the tea time, the lunch?
I think it was the lunch.
Yes. Had these very interesting things. We briefly talked about them while we were doing walkthrough, and it's a piece of paper. Looks like recycled paper, but it's got seeds on them, and there's basil, oregano, thyme. I think they're all the same.
It's a placemat. You see what it says? It says plant this placemat to grow your own herb mix. So that's really quite cool.
Now, from all the seeds on here, it's probably only going to be the basil that grows, because thyme and oregano is notoriously difficult.
A little bit more difficult, but you never know. Maybe if you take them home, your kids might have green fingers and they might get to grow those things.
Yeah.
So you never know.
And then I've got to look after them.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was very cool and very interesting. You take away paper that's actually impregnated with seeds.
Impregnated.
And that is the word. And you go and plant that, and out they grow. Is that not cool?
Yes. This is a very cool thing.
And then something else we saw, which was very interesting, is we were walking around and we saw little glass cubes with some about the size, little glass cubes with a little bunch of grapes in.
Yes, it was like, I thought it was like a display for the grapes.
Yes, and then inside them there were some bugs. They were lacewings. Thanks, Devon. Lacewings that are part of the IPM Integrated Pest Management Program, which is operated by Koppert.
Yes, that display was sponsored by Koppert, and it was actually very cool to see. And they briefly explained, it's not the actual lacewing that's a predator, it's the crawler or the larvae in that case. They lay the eggs in a bunch of grapes, the crawlers come out, and they eat the mealybugs.
Yes, so in other words, what we saw were the heroes, the parents of the heroes.
Yes.
And so they are being used as insects which fight the other insects.
And I think it was a brilliant display to actually show the live insects
right there
at the event.
And
they are indigenous to South Africa.
Yes, so they are not imported insects, and there they were, and this is how growers are helping to fight problem insects.
By using less chemicals.
By using less chemicals, by using insects to fight insects. So there's a war going on in the vineyards on a micro level between the insects that are the heroes and the insects that are the villains. And today we got to meet some of the heroes, so that was quite cool.
Okay, so then this afternoon's panel discussion was quite an interesting one. It was labeled as who's eating or who's stealing your lunch. Who's eating or who's stealing? Anyway,
who's stealing
it's the same
your lunch?
thing. And it was a panel discussion between industry leaders from all over. And the question is, where is the money going to come from? How are they going to make money, basically? And there were some very interesting questions asked by people in the audience.
Well, I think what it boils down to is that global table grape production is growing. and growing and growing. And
the mouths eating it is becoming less and less and less.
And the grapes are not earning as much money as they used to in the past. And they say, populations might be growing, but actually per capita consumption is not growing as will really need to be to make this this industry really profitable. I mean, I think some of them are profitable, or some of them take over. But it was a very robust conversation with some very serious questions asked, and so we don't have the answers, but a lot of very interesting questions were asked, and certainly food for thought.
Yeah, and a very interesting comment by one of the, I think the gentleman's name is Carlos.
One of the panelists, yes.
Yeah, one of the panelists. He's from the United States, and he said that maybe your next 10 hectares is stealing the lunch from your old 10 hectares. And so is your neighbor, who's also planted 10 hectares, 10 new hectares.
Yeah.
And his neighbor, and a neighbor on the other side. So, and it's again, the question that we've asked is, why is the industry expanding if there's less money and less mouths buying the fruit and eating the fruit? So
that was quite a sobering question today. And it's certainly food for thought, as we were saying about talking about stealing your lunch. You might just end up with only thought, not food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it for the wrap up for today. We're back tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.